What if everything you believe about innovation is backwards? What if competition is for losers, and the real fortunes are made by people who create monopolies, not by those who compete in crowded markets? What if going from 0 to 1, creating something entirely new, is easier than going from 1 to N, copying what already exists? Peter Thiel, the billionaire co-founder of PayPal and first outside investor in Facebook, has a shocking message. Most startups fail not because they dream too big, but because they don't dream big enough. They compete in crowded markets instead of creating new ones. They focus on incremental improvements instead of breakthrough innovations. They follow best practices instead of questioning fundamental assumptions. Today, we're diving into the contrarian principles that build billion-dollar companies like PayPal, Facebook, and SpaceX. These aren't tactics for small improvements. These are strategies for creating monopolies that dominate entire industries. Whether you're starting a company, leading innovation inside a corporation, or just trying to think differently about business, what you're about to learn will challenge everything the business schools teach. Because the companies that change the world don't compete, they create.
Peter Thiel didn't write 0 to 1 from theory. He wrote it from experience building and investing in some of the most valuable companies on Earth. As co-founder of PayPal, he helped create the online payments industry. As the first outside investor in Facebook, he turned $500,000 into billions. Through his venture capital firm, Founders Fund, he's backed companies like SpaceX, Airbnb, and Palantir. This book, published in 2014, is based on notes from a Stanford course Thiel taught on startups. But it's not a typical startup guide. It's a contrarian manifesto that challenges almost everything conventional business wisdom teaches. In 2026, these ideas are more relevant than ever. We're living in an age of stagnation disguised as progress. Yes, we have faster phones and better apps, but we don't have flying cars or cures for aging. We have thousands of startups competing to build slightly better versions of existing products, but few trying to create entirely new categories. Technology companies that should be building the future are instead competing for advertising dollars and user attention. The result? Massive competition, tiny margins, and little real innovation. Thiel argues this is backwards. Real value is created by monopolies, not competitive markets. Real innovation comes from going from 0 to 1, creating something new, not from 1 to N, copying what exists. For entrepreneurs tired of competing in overcrowded markets, for innovators frustrated by incremental thinking, for anyone who wants to build something that actually matters, this book provides a radically different framework. It's not about building a better mousetrap, it's about questioning whether we even need mousetraps, and if the answer is no, what should we build instead?
Let's start with Thiel's most controversial principle. Competition is for losers. This is the opposite of what you've been taught. Economics classes praise perfect competition. Business culture celebrates competitive spirit. Entrepreneurs are told to identify competitors and beat them. But Thiel argues this is exactly wrong. Perfect competition drives profits to 0. If you're in a perfectly competitive market, you're fighting for survival, not building value. Think about restaurants. Thousands compete, margins are thin, most fail. Compare that to Google, which monopolizes search. Google captures enormous profits because it doesn't compete, it dominates. The truth nobody wants to admit, all happy companies are different because they earned a monopoly by solving a unique problem. All failed companies are the same because they failed to escape competition. Here's the key insight. Creative monopolies drive progress. They have the profits to invest in long-term innovation. They can take risks competitive companies can't afford. Google can fund moonshot projects like self-driving cars because search monopoly profits fund experimentation. A restaurant competing for survival can't afford to experiment. It must optimize every dollar just to stay alive. This is why Thiel says if you want to create lasting value, don't compete, create a monopoly. But not the evil kind governments break up, the kind that creates so much value nobody else can match it. A 2024 example proves this perfectly. OpenAI didn't compete in the crowded search or social media markets. They created an entirely new category with ChatGPT, artificial intelligence that actually works. Within months, they dominated. Within a year, they were valued at tens of billions. They went from zero, no commercial AI conversation product, to one, category-defining leader. Meanwhile, dozens of search engines and social networks fight for scraps in mature competitive markets. 0 to 1 wins, 1 to N loses.
The second contrarian principle: start with a monopoly in a small market. Most entrepreneurs make the fatal mistake of targeting huge markets with their first product. They think, if we capture just 1% of a trillion-dollar market, we'll be rich. But this is backwards. If your market is huge, it's probably full of competitors, and capturing even 1% of a huge market is nearly impossible when you're starting from zero. Thiel's approach: dominate a small, specific market completely, then expand. PayPal didn't try to serve all online payments globally. They started with eBay power sellers, a tiny niche. Once they monopolized that, they expanded. Facebook didn't launch globally. They started with Harvard students, then Ivy League, then colleges, then everyone. Each step they dominated before expanding. Amazon started with just books, not all e-commerce. They monopolized online book sales, then expanded to other categories methodically. This is the opposite of what most startups do. They launch broad products for everyone and capture nobody. Thiel teaches, it's better to monopolize a market of 10,000 people than to have 0.1% of a market of 100 million. Once you monopolize the small market, you have a base of raving fans, strong cash flow, and a platform to expand. A modern example from 2025 illustrates this. A startup tried to build productivity software for professionals. Huge market, but they got destroyed by Microsoft, Google, and dozens of others. Another startup built task management specifically for wedding planners. Tiny market, but they monopolized it. Within a year, every wedding planner used them. Then they expanded to event planners, then project managers, then everyone. They went from 0 to 1 in weddings, then 1 to N everywhere else. The first company is dead. The second is worth hundreds of millions. The third principle: secrets still exist. You must find them. Most people believe all the easy truths have been discovered. All the good startup ideas are taken. All the obvious opportunities are exploited. This is dangerously wrong. There are still secrets, important truths that few people know or believe. Finding them is how you go from 0 to 1. Thiel distinguishes between two types of secrets: secrets of nature and secrets about people. Secrets of nature are undiscovered truths about the physical world. Secrets about people are things people don't know about themselves or hide from others. Business secrets are usually secrets about people. Airbnb discovered that people would rent rooms to strangers, despite conventional wisdom saying nobody would. Uber discovered that people would get in cars with strangers, despite everyone saying it was unsafe. These weren't technological breakthroughs, they were insights about human behavior nobody believed until proven. How do you find secrets? Thiel offers specific strategies. First, look for contrarian truths that sound wrong but might be right. What important truth do very few people agree with you on? That question reveals secrets. Second, look at what's forbidden or unfashionable to think. Often the best secrets hide in plain sight because social convention discourages examining them. Third, look for areas where you have unique perspective or experience. Your secrets likely relate to things you understand better than most people. A 2024 founder discovered a secret:
Remote workers don't actually want more video calls, they want asynchronous communication that respects time zones and deep work. Everyone was building better Zoom, she built better async tools. That secret became a $500 million company. The secret was hiding in plain sight, but social convention, everyone praising remote video culture, prevented people from seeing the truth. The fourth principle, last mover advantage beats first mover advantage. Business culture obsesses over being first mover advantage, first to market. But Thiel argues this is wrong. It's better to be the last mover, the company that makes the last great development in a specific market and dominates for years or decades. Being first means nothing if someone else comes along and does it better. Google wasn't the first search engine. It was the last one you needed, the one so good it monopolized the market. Facebook wasn't the first social network. It was the last one most people joined. The iPhone wasn't the first smartphone. It was the last innovation needed to dominate the category for years. Last mover advantage means you study what worked and failed, then create something so superior it ends the game. You're not first, but you're final. You don't start the race, you end it by winning so decisively nobody can catch up. This requires long-term thinking. Most startups optimize for short-term metrics and quick exits. Thiel teaches the opposite, build for durability and monopoly. Will your company be creating value in 10 or 20 years? If you can't articulate why your company will be valuable a decade from now, you probably don't have a monopoly. You have a commodity business pretending to be innovative. A great test. Could your company survive losing all revenue for a year? Monopolies could because they have pricing power and loyal customers. Competitive businesses would die immediately because they have no moat, no protection, no durability. Think long-term or don't bother. The fifth principle, definite optimism is required for breakthrough innovation. Thiel divides worldviews into 4 categories based on 2 axes, definite versus indefinite future and optimistic versus pessimistic outlook. Definite optimists believe the future will be better and they can shape it through planning and action. This was America in the 1950s, 60s. We're going to the moon, we're building interstate highways, we're curing diseases. Definite pessimists believe the future is bleak but predictable. China preparing for environmental disaster is definite pessimism. Indefinite pessimists think the future is unknowable and probably bad. Europe's stagnation reflects this. Indefinite optimists think the future will be better but don't know how, so they don't plan, they just react and optimize. This is modern America. The future will be good somehow, so let's just keep iterating and see what happens.
Thiel argues only definite optimism creates breakthrough innovation. If you believe you can shape a specific better future, you make bold plans and execute them. You go from 0 to 1. If you're indefinitely optimistic, you make small bets, diversify, and hope something works. You go from 1 to n, making incremental improvements. This explains why we have better phones but not flying cars. Definite optimism builds flying cars. Indefinite optimism optimizes apps. For entrepreneurs, the lesson is clear. Have a specific vision of the future you want to create, then build toward it. Don't hedge, don't diversify, don't keep options open. Make definite plans for a definite future and execute with determination. A 2025 biotech founder illustrates this. Instead of indefinitely optimistic, let's try lots of things and see what works, she had definite optimism. We will cure this specific disease through this specific mechanism within 10 years. That clarity attracted top scientists, investors, and partners. Indefinite optimists are still exploring options. She's building a monopoly in a new category. The sixth principle, power law distribution, means you must find the one thing.
In venture capital, Thiel discovered that returns follow a power law. One investment returns more than all others combined. Facebook returned more than every other Founders Fund investment combined. This isn't unique to VC. Power law applies everywhere. One product will generate more value than all your other products. One strategy will work better than all others. One market will be bigger than all others. The implication, you must find the one thing and go all in. Diversification, the gospel of finance, is actually a hedge against not knowing what will work. If you know what will work, concentration beats diversification every time. For startups, this means focusing obsessively on the one product, one market, one strategy that will create monopoly value. Not 10 products hoping one works. One product you know will work. Not 5 markets hedging bets. One market you'll dominate. This is terrifying because it requires conviction, but it's how 0 to 1 companies are built. Apple's success came from betting everything on iPhone. Google's came from betting everything on search. Amazon's came from betting everything on books, then e-commerce, then cloud. One bet at a time, all in. The 7th principle, sales and distribution matter as much as product. Nerds hate hearing this, but Thiel insists it's true. A great product with bad distribution fails. A good product with great distribution wins. Nerds think the best product wins automatically, but that's fantasy. Superior sales and distribution beat superior product constantly. This is why Thiel emphasizes the importance of a distribution strategy from day one. How will you acquire customers? What's your customer acquisition cost? What's lifetime value? How will you scale distribution? These questions matter as much as what you're building. Many startups build great products nobody hears about. They fail not because the product was bad, but because distribution was neglected. For every engineer building product, you need someone equally talented building distribution. The best companies have both. Tesla has amazing cars and amazing brand and distribution. Apple has great products and best-in-class retail and ecosystem. Google has superior search and unbeatable distribution through defaults and partnerships.
So how do you apply 0 to 1 thinking in 2026? First, ask yourself the contrarian question. What important truth do very few people agree with you on? Your answer likely contains the seed of a monopoly. Most people believe X, but you believe Y. If you're right and they're wrong, that's your secret. Second, identify a small market you can monopolize. Don't start by targeting everyone. Find a specific group of people with a specific problem nobody else is solving well. Dominate that niche completely. You need 100% of a small market, more than 1% of a huge one. Third, build for monopoly characteristics. Thiel lists 4. Proprietary technology at least 10x better than alternatives. Network effects that make your product more valuable as more people use it. Economies of scale that make your business stronger as it grows. And branding that can't be copied. If you don't have these, you don't have a monopoly business. Fourth, think definite optimism. Have a specific vision of what future you're creating and work backward from there. Make plans, execute them. Don't just react to market feedback, create the market. Fifth, focus on the one thing following power law. What's the single most important thing you could be doing? Do that. Ignore everything else until it's done. Don't diversify your attention across 10 initiatives. Concentrate on one. Finally, build distribution into your company from day one. Have a clear answer to how will we acquire our first 100 customers, our first 1,000, our first million. If you can't answer this, you'll build something nobody discovers. The best product in the world is worthless if nobody knows it exists. Building a 0 to 1 company is harder than building a 1 to N company. Copying what exists is easier than creating what doesn't. Competing in established markets is more comfortable than creating new ones.
But easy and comfortable don't create billion-dollar companies. They create commodities that compete on price and die slow deaths. The companies that matter, the ones that change the world and create enormous value, all went from 0 to 1. They created categories, not products. They built monopolies, not market share. They thought contrarian thoughts everyone else dismissed until success proved them right. Yes, it's scary to bet everything on one vision instead of hedging. Yes, it's uncomfortable to reject best practices everyone follows. Yes, it's lonely being contrarian when everyone thinks you're wrong. But that's exactly why it works. If it was easy and obvious, someone would have already done it. The secret truths that build monopolies sound wrong until they're obviously right. Airbnb sounded insane, Uber sounded dangerous, Facebook sounded frivolous, Bitcoin sounded like fraud. All were contrarian, all were right, all created billions in value. The question isn't whether you can handle the difficulty, it's whether you can handle the regret of not trying. Building a 0 to 1 company might fail, but competing in crowded markets will definitely fail to create extraordinary value. Choose the hard problem with upside over the comfortable path with no ceiling. That's how you go from 0 to 1. Let's crystallize Peter Thiel's framework. Going from 0 to 1 means creating something new, not copying what exists. It requires finding secrets, important truths few people know or believe. It requires building monopolies in small markets, then expanding, not competing in huge markets for tiny share. It requires definite optimism, a specific vision of the future you'll create through planning and action. It requires focusing on the one thing following power law, not diversifying across many things. It requires building distribution as seriously as product. And it requires contrarian thinking, believing important truths most people disagree with. The companies that change the world don't compete. They create new categories. They monopolize. They don't make incremental improvements. They make 10x breakthroughs. They don't follow best practices. They question fundamental assumptions. PayPal created online payments. Facebook created the social graph. Google created useful search. SpaceX created reusable rockets. Each went from 0 to 1, creating something that didn't exist. None competed in existing markets. All created new ones. For you, the lesson is simple but profound. Stop trying to beat competitors in existing markets. Start trying to make competition irrelevant by creating new markets. Don't build a better X. Build the Y nobody realizes they need. Don't go from 1 to N. Go from 0 to 1. It's harder, it's riskier, it's lonelier, but it's the only way to build something that truly matters. The world has enough competition. It needs more creation. The question is, will you create?